All right,
So,
folks, here we are. Mike Kegley, Kedrick Prince, IlliniGuys halftime live. Kedrick, I got to be honest with you. Illinois down by 2. I was very disappointed at the defense. I thought they gave Smith a couple easy pathways for layups down the lane. Kaufman ran. There was no help, and there were some offensive rebounds that Purdue got that were killers. They were only 2, but they were big. And I really like to see a little better help defense, and Illinois could be leading this thing with a little bit better defense.
my thing, Mike, I would like to see 50-50 balls. To me, it's about hustle. That's number one. I mean, and I just tweeted that. Get a couple of 50-50 balls to go your way, and you grab some of them. You also may have the lead. The thing with Trey Kaufman, which I'm going to agree with you on, I'm going to tell you, if it was me, and I'm sitting here because he was the guy I was concerned about to begin with. Raphael Davis, one of the Big Ten Network analysts, made a comment that he's one of the most underrated players in the Big Ten. He really is. How I would guard him, because he does, once he gets the ball and he starts doing the booty ball, he doesn't look to pass it out. So if it was me and Will Riley, for some reason, who's long enough, he's been on his side. If you don't want to double down, but you want to hedge a little bit. When he goes up, he's not passing it back out. Go to deflect it because he's not going to miss. They have to get an answer for him, my personal opinion. That's number one, Mike. And I mean, I agree with what you're saying, because they could be leading this game right now. And right now, I think, honestly, guys, I'm impressed with their offense. I mean, we have been very critical. People have been very negative, and they've said a lot of negative things about the way the offense has been running. But I'm going to tell you, you give them some time. They've had a lot of time to adjust over the last 2 weeks. When the offense is working the way it is and the way Ivicic can pass the basketball, they look good. And I know they're not shooting up threes very well, Mike, but honestly, I have no problem with them tonight because they're getting good looks. Some of those shots literally rolled in and rolled out. If that's the way it's going to be, then I'm cool with it. You're only down by 2 points. They can win this one.
Yeah, I thought Illinois got the favorable whistle against Purdue, which almost never happens for the Illini. I thought I really liked most of their effort, other than just a lack of guys. Ked, when I teach man-to-man defense, the bottom line is when somebody drives the ball, even if it's not your guy, the ball going to the basket always has the highest priority, and at times guys have to come off their man to help, and I wasn't seeing that. Beyond that, I think they have played fairly well. It'd be nice to see KJ get a little bit of his confidence back. He still is playing a little tentative, although I was happy when he did drive the lane, Ked. I thought he drove the lane aggressively and went towards the basket instead of his fallback game.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give KJ's credit because he's not been great offensively. I would much rather see him deter than to look to just chuck up shots to be shooting them. We've seen enough of that. That's one of the reasons why I like the way the offense is running. They're not looking for shots that they did, midway through the season. If he's open, he's open. And we need to give credit, not just me, but people need to own this. Let's give Brad Underwood credit for Ben Humrickhouse, please forgive me, for limiting his minutes and giving them to Will Riley. Will Riley has been a man amongst boys the last few games, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think it's great. And I think this team right now, I'm starting to see it personally from a basketball standpoint, this team is slowly starting to look like the team that we thought. And keep in mind, there's a big fella down there sitting with the cast on his arm still that they're still missing. They get him back, they can be they can be dangerous. And if the shots continue to fall, again, I don't have any problem with what they're doing. If I don't want to see KJ force shots, Mike, and I don't think there's a player on this team that I've seen in the first half that's forced shots at all.
Yeah, I do think, for those people who don't have the stat sheet in front of you, Will Riley leads the team with 14 points, 2 assists. You have Ivicic with 9 points, 4 rebounds, and a couple of assists. Trey White at 11 points, 6 boards, and an assist. KJ at 4 points, 1 rebound, and 3 assists. Gibbs Lawhorn didn't score, neither did Jake Davis, and Kylan Boswell is 2 points, 1 rebound, a couple of assists, and he did have 2 two fouls. So the Illini with only 4 turnovers in that half, that's exactly what they need to keep it, I think, in my opinion, under 5. I thought that was good. And again, to me, just a little bit more help defense out there. And I think this team is going to have an opportunity, but you can't give, not only can you not give Kaufman Wren those opportunities, but you certainly can't let Smith and Lawyer get runs at the rim, especially after just getting literally a pick and just driving around it.
Mike, great point, great feedback. We need to give some love to a Mr. Trey White. I mean, I don't want to overlook this dude because right now he has 11 points, 4 or 5 shooting. He has 6 rebounds, which is the most of any player that's participating in this game right now. Right now, when I mention the offense, when the floor is spread and they make a couple shots, Will Riley and Trey White play and Ibisevic play really, really well together. So I know we can do the analytical number things with the 3s and 2s, but Trey White has just been great. And he is playing now like the player I thought that Illinois would get when they brought him in. And he's confident shooting the 3 ball right now. His rebounding, here's another concern for me. They have 2 guys. White has 6, Ibisevic has 4, and everybody else, well, I guess KJ has 1 and Kylan has 1. Illinois is a good rebounding team, but also we need to give the Purdue Boilermakers credit. They're a great rebounding team too. And, coming into this game, I didn't know what to expect, but it's been since 2001 since Illinois has been Purdue. And I want the fans who are listening to this halftime podcast, watch Braden Smith. I mean, a little bird told me out of all the teams in the Big Ten, including Indiana, the team he wants to never lose to in the beat is the University of Illinois. He brings it. If you remember last year, he had a couple daggers against Illinois when Terrence Shannon was playing. So this will be a great win. I see the coaches coaching, players involved, guys moving, cutting. They just need to get some of those loose balls and just to tighten it up a little bit on defense. If they can tighten a little bit up on defense, they'll be fine. But give Purdue credit. They are a good defensive team, and they run really good offense, and they run emotional offense, and it's hard to stop them at times.
Yeah, I know that as I look at it, I guess I thought that Illinois did a nice job in that half of running, guys off the 3-point line, and you notice that Smith and Lawyer were 1 for 5 from the 3. So I think they got that part down, and now they got to get the interior point. Their interior defense is a little better, and I think if Illinois could also communicate better on defense, I think that helps. And I think we can probably, I don't know, you want to predict, but I think we could say that I would expect KJ to have a better offensive half in the second half. So Illinois fans have a reason to be excited. And I think it comes down to just how well they play together on the defensive end of the court. And can they continue to not turn over the ball? Now, if you look at the comparison with the two teams, Purdue's shooting 56%. So obviously, those layups are helping. Illinois is at 48, and from the 3, Purdue is 38%. Illinois is 27. From the free throw line, 3 for 4 for Purdue, 8 for 9 for Illinois. 4 turnovers to 3. Illinois leads there, but points off of turnovers, 6-0 Purdue. So that just goes to show you how important those turnovers are, as that's probably the difference here in the half. The other big difference is because of some of the lack of the help, Illinois has scored 16 points in the paint, and Purdue has scored 24. So the opportunity there is for the Illini. I think, as you said, Ked, the opportunity is more for defense as opposed to how they were doing on the offensive end of the court.
Mike, I'm going to, stay true to my word. I don't care if KJ scores 20 in the second half or if he scores 0. Just don't turn the ball over and give Illinois a chance. That's what I really and truly want to see. When I look at this offense, you mentioned the 3-point field goals. Illinois is 4-15. Think about it. They've had really good looks. How about the one that Trey White shot in the corner that rolled around, hit the rim, rolled out? Ben Rickhouse. Those are, I'm sorry. If you're going to shoot threes, I'd rather see those than 3-point shots they hit inside in the backboard or don't have a chance to go in, or you're not shooting with confidence. Another thing that I would give the coaches credit for, and I've been voicing my opinion, I thought there were times where KJ, he struggled shooting off the bounce. Today, you saw Will Riley bring the ball up the court a little bit more. Kylan Boswell bring the ball up the court a little bit more. And I think KJ got open looks. Shots just didn't fall. So if you're talking about that in the second half, I would love to see that. I think he's a much better shooter when he's not having to force and feel like he has to be the guy. When I mentioned 50-50 balls, again, Purdue's a tough team. And, our rebound them tonight would be great. This is the one game. If there was one game that was on the schedule since Marez was hurt, this is the one game I wish he could play, because I think he's strong enough to match up with Ren Kaufman, and I think Ibises would have been a good enough guy to help him play good help defense. So keeping them out of foul trouble, what they can't do is let Ibises come out and pick up a foul early. That's going to hurt, because then Purdue's going to go and start attacking him right away.
Yeah, and I do think, Kaufman Wren he's been a handful tonight. And you can certainly see why people are calling him, one of the most underrated players in the Big Ten. Has a really nice first step. He kind of reminds me a little bit of a slight, a less athletic Trace Jackson Davis with the way he plays. He definitely goes after the boards, and Illinois has to find a way to stop him. And again, you're doing a decent job early on the 3-point line. They have to keep pushing guys off of there, and at least make Lawyer and Smith work hard. If you can keep them shooting, 20% or under from the three, that makes Illinois have an opportunity for the win.
If they're going to have a chance to win this game with under 3 minutes to go, they better have a 5 or 6 point lead, because I'm going to tell you right now, Purdue's going to make it tough for Illinois. They just are. Smith is just dangerous. I mean, he's one of the most underrated players in college basketball. This kid has 11 points, and he already has 7 assists, Mike. So he's just a tough matchup. And if it's tied or a 1 or 2 point game, that's when I'm going to start chewing off. Whatever fingernails I have left, I'm going to be chewing on my skin, because that kid is just a gamer. And again, they're just a good team. They're solid. I can't take anything away from them, and they're on the road. They don't get fazed by anything. Both teams have played a great non-conference schedule. This win right now means more to me than Illinois than it does Purdue. Illinois, I think they've got out the 8th seed line. They're on the 7th. I think if they can win a game or two in the Big Ten tournament, there's a possible chance at 6, because I look at all the other teams. Beating a Purdue at home at the end of the season without one of your starters would go a long way.
Yeah, and this certainly would help give those NCAA committee members, if they were to be able to beat Purdue, it would give them a reason to say, hey, maybe those injuries and those sickness that Illinois talked about that was legitimate. And so, yeah, a win here and a couple in the Big Ten tournament would be fantastic for Illinois. And folks, Illinois has a 9-game winning streak against Michigan, and that's the second biggest in the Michigan-Illinois history. But right now, Purdue owns a 5-game winning streak on Illinois, and it seems like 20 years since Illinois has last beat the Boilermakers. I would think that even though most of these players weren't there, that's got to stick in the craw Brad Underwood, who doesn't really have those types of streaks against teams, and he's got to want to get back against this Purdue team.
You can tell. I mean, look on the sideline. I mean, he got up right away. Matt Painter was up right away. These coaches are great. They get along, but don't let them fool you. I mean, if you've played any sport, or even if you're in the business world or you're working, you're competing. Brad Underwood knows. I mean, hell, we know that he hasn't beaten him in 5 straight games, and I know Matt Painter wants to keep that going. That's a great streak. I thought last time when Drayvon Gibbs-Lawhorn played, his body language was kind of, I'm not for sure against Michigan. And today, because he committed to Purdue once, he had the little extra bounce on his step. This game matters. That's why it's at the end of the season. So if people are really wondering, I'm glad it's not Northwestern. The reason this game is at the end of the season is because Purdue and Illinois have been the best 2 teams in the Big Ten in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, and it is an excellent choice by our friends at the Big Ten and obviously Fox to get this on the air. Folks, we will be back, but it will be 20 minutes after the game is done. Ked and I will be back to talk about the game. and we will definitely, have Brad Sturdy come on after he gets done with the post-game media scrum. So tune in to us again at 20 minutes after the game ends. And of course, you can go to IlliniGuys.com and subscribe there as well. We're going to give one little break to our advertiser, Busey Bank, and then we will go over and watch the Illini game. Until the end of the game, folks, go Illini.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the colleges paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned.